Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Robert Conley on Robert and Sonia Live, coming to you this morning about 11:30 Eastern to give you a little pregame show for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. This is Robert Conley minus Sonia this morning on NGSE Sports. Robert and Sonia Live is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Good morning. This is Robert Conley here, and I had to come out to a sports bar to give my show this morning because I'm going to be watching the game from here because the network doesn't want everybody across the country to watch the game. I'm sitting smack dab in the middle of Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. They both are 3 hours away from me, and I don't get to see the game on television, so I had to come out to a sports bar to watch the game. Good morning, Kathy. Hey, Jason, how are you doing? And so here I am in a sports bar. It's going to get loud in here. I know it will. I started the show earlier so that maybe I can get it done before the loudness starts happening because they turn the volume up in this place on the music before the game starts. So hopefully I'm not going to have a problem with hearing too much noise in the background. Anyway, we're playing the Indianapolis Colts today. And the Steelers, as you know, because we've all been sick about it, the Steelers they're 11-3, and they've lost their last 3 games in a row. What is the reasoning? Why? What happened? Where did it come from? What could have totally gone wrong for the Steelers to lose 3 games in a row after starting out the gate 11 straight wins? What could have happened with the Steelers? Well, hey, Brenda, how are you doing? I am, you don't know how we're going to see the game. Hey, Jason, if you go to my page where I posted the map, somebody's posted on there a way for you to be able to see the game. I don't remember what the name of that app is, but there's an app on there that you can download supposedly and watch the game. Yeah, COVID. Yeah, Kathleen. COVID is the culprit that I believe caused the problem. When I say, yeah, I believe it caused the problem, apparently you have some idea too. I think it caused the problem because it all started a couple of days before the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to play Baltimore Ravens in the night game in Pittsburgh on Thanksgiving night. And when the Steelers got the message that there would be no game on Thursday night, their whole schedule, all of their timing and everything that they normally count on got thrown out of whack. They were on a roll. They had everything set, their schedule, their practice schedule, everything was going on. And it's not on Yahoo Sports here, Kathleen. And so everything got out of whack. And some people don't believe this, but I don't think that they've ever been in situations where you have to depend on or you grow to depend on schedules. Take for instance, you are going to work every day, 40 hours a week, paying your bills, and you maybe put $25 a week in the bank. Well, then for 2 weeks, and it comes as a surprise, you're told you're not going to be working the next 2 weeks. And the $25 now that you've been putting away in the bank now becomes the money that you're living off of. And so it throws your entire schedule out of whack. You start calling bill collectors, or they call you. And you have to make a change in the groceries you buy, or buy less, or buy at a different store. Your kids, if they're depending on you for gasoline to get to and from school, then what's going to happen there? I mean, when things get put out of whack, it just changes the whole, no pun intended, ball game. And so I believe that that's what happened to the Steelers. And last week on the Mike Tomlin on his news conference, one of the female reporters came on when she was going to ask a question, and she said that she had spoken with a couple of the players, and the players told her that they were mentally tired. They became mentally tired when they started in the downward spiral of the schedule changing and everything else changing. And when that happens, when everything starts to change on you and things that you have no control over, things just start going crazy. And so that's what I believed happened to the Steelers. It started 2 days before Thanksgiving, and their schedule and everything was thrown off. And when it gets thrown off, like I said, you don't know what's going to happen next. And then it was delay. And so their practice schedule wasn't regular. The coaches could not schedule when they were going to practice on a regular basis because they thought that, okay, we're going to play on Sunday. Let's go ahead and let's work out accordingly. And then they didn't play on Sunday. And then they didn't play on Monday. And then they played on Tuesday. And it just all got thrown out of whack. And becoming mentally tired is what causes almost anything to happen negatively. If you are in, and many of you can't imagine this because you were never in the military, but in military exercises, you get tested and tested and tested, and you get worn down, and you've got to be able to function at your highest when you're worn down. And it makes it extremely hard. And if you don't train for that, if you don't have somebody commanding you and telling you what you need to do and just do it and forget about everything else, it becomes a major problem, becomes a major issue. And that major issue is not just you losing a football game. It's possibly you losing your life or the life of one of your buddies. And so once it's thrown off, I mean, here's what happened to me just a couple of weeks ago. I decided I was going to the casino. Okay, I was going to go and see if I could double my money. The first thing that happened to me wrong was a small meeting that I had set up before I was going to the casino. Once I got to that meeting, everything was different than what I expected it to be. Okay, number one thing wrong. The person I was going to talk to didn't know exactly what we were talking about, even after I gave her the information of why I was coming, and she okayed it. Well, once I got there, it was a waste of time. So I went 20 minutes one way out of my way, 20 minutes to get back into the path that I was traveling, and I had a meeting that was non-productive. That's number one. Number two, once I got to the casino, I got out of the car, started to walk in the door, and I left my money in the car. Number two, things are thrown out of whack now, okay? They're just not what they need to be. So I go into the casino, I sit down, and I start charting the game because I keep track of the games when I'm playing in the casino. Well, I start charting the game. Soon as I get done charting and I'm ready to make a bet, I put my bet out there, the game ties. So I don't win. I don't lose either, but I don't win on a bet that I expected to win. So then after the tie, I can't play the next hand because it tied and it throws things out of whack. Well, the next hand I didn't bet, but it tied again. And so it's continuing. And so the next hand I didn't bet and it tied again 3 times in a row. I looked at the dealer. I said, this is going to be ugly. I said, so give me my chips. I'm leaving the table. I'm leaving the casino. I got up and left because when things get out of whack, if your mind is not where it needs to be, so many other things go wrong. And just like dominoes, they fall, they fall, they fall. Lemony Snicket's, a series of unfortunate events. Lemony Snicket's, a series of unfortunate events. And that's what's happened to the Steelers the last 3 weeks. Now, Steelers, I believe, are out of the cloud. They're out of the fog. They're out of the funk, whatever you want to call it. Lemony Snicket's, I expect to be gone now. The reason being is because in the last 3 games, last 4 games actually, because it started with the Ravens game, even though we won, the Steelers didn't play very well then. So in the last 4 games, the Steelers have had 14 ugly quarters. 14. 4 with the Ravens, 4 with the Bills, 4 with the Bengals, and 2 with the Bengals, and 4 with whoever else we played, that other team that we got beat by that we shouldn't have been beat by. Okay, so there's 14 quarters that the Steelers have had that were bad, ugly, not as productive as we wanted them to be, that made us all feel bad. But the last 2 quarters, last week with the Bengals, started to get better. Thank you, Deb. I got your score here. I don't know if anybody else has put theirs up. I'll be checking it. But Deb Helms, I have your score here. And what we do is we combine the scores. So you have a total of 48, Deb. That's your number. So the last 2 quarters of the Bengals game. Now, as we watch these games and as we want our team to win, there were some problems last game with the officiating, which, I mean, I saw a few problems earlier in the season when I have you down here, I think, Kathleen. Let me see. No, I don't have you down here, Kathleen. I've got you now. So I saw some problems with officiating earlier in the game where the Steelers got away with a couple, but there was also some that were not called that would have been in favor of the Steelers. I have you also, Paul, and I have you at 52. So with the officiating, they just didn't do a good job last week in the Steelers-Bengals game, because what they did is the same thing that they did when the Steelers were playing the Bengals in the playoffs a few years ago when Brown, Bell, and Ben all got knocked out of the game. They let the nastiness go way too long, and it got started. Okay? I see yours, Joe, 28 and 24 is 52. So they let them get away with too much in the beginning of the game last week. It was ugly, and all of you seen it. You saw what was going on. You saw the nasty, ugly hits, and you saw what was happening. And I said in the first quarter, they're letting this stuff go on way too long. And it didn't matter if it was it mattered if it was a clean hit. What was happening is the dirty hits were happening, and they let them get away with it for too long. And they didn't call when they should have made calls. They called pass interference. There was no pass interference. They didn't call pass interference. There was pass interference. Okay, they called. There were 3 calls that I saw that they didn't call. One of them was pass interference, and one of them was unsportsmanlike conduct. Then there was another one that they didn't call, and it should have been those 3 that would have been in favor of the Steelers, but they didn't call any of them. Even the MCs of the show were talking about the officiating, letting this stuff go on way too long. Even they were talking about in the first half of the game. I've got you, Scotty, at 34. So they were talking about it also, and that happening things got out of hand. It changed the mindset of the Steelers. Okay, it changed what was going on. I got you, Jason Lamar. It changed what was going on. And the Steelers then, as they tried to come back and get caught up, it was a problem. It was a problem. And like I said, lemony snickets, when your schedule gets thrown off, when things just don't go the way you expect them to go, everything goes wrong. Dominoes start falling. And so now, since we had 2 good quarters at the end of the game last week, because Steelers came out and they started playing like we expected them to play, to come back and win the game. So when that happened, when it looked like they were coming back, it looked like they were going to win the game, time expired. It didn't happen. We had too many players injured, and those injuries came from the ugly hits. Most all of them came from the ugly hits. So we got a lot of players injured, got a lot of guys hurt. We didn't get the break when we thought we were going to get a break. We didn't get our bye week. Everything just went off. Okay. And playing these games, and the NFL knows it, playing these games, this is one of the toughest games in professional sports to play or participate in. And when you get hit and you get banged up, your body needs time to heal. And when you play too many games in too few days, your body doesn't come back. If your body doesn't come back, then the injury is exaggerated. When your body doesn't come back and the injury is exaggerated, your mind starts going, and it makes everything worse. So we've got a lot of guys injured. Some's going to be back today, but we still do have a lot of guys injured. So this is Robert Conley on Robert and Sonia Live on NGSC Sports. I'm glad that you're here today and that you're participating in the game to win the customized T-shirt, because this is a prize that's not like what you normally win here. You normally win a mask. You had been winning a terrible towel. You've been winning hats. Not this one. You can't have this one. Hopefully I'll get over to Pittsburgh, maybe before the playoffs, we'll see, and be able to buy some more giveaway items, but I've not been able to get over there. So hopefully I'll be able to get over there and get some more things, or I'll start having to give away gift cards so that you can get your own. But I'd like to go over to Pittsburgh so that I can get something. My schedule's changed as well. As you know, I came here in August and expected to be here about 6 weeks. I'm still here in Columbus. There's snow on the ground. There's snow on the ground. I should be in Vegas. I'll get back there. Now, my schedule changed because of the jobs that I'm working. TJ Watt. TJ Watt. Right, Scotty. He is the beast. He's not just a beast. He is the beast in the NFL. I think that he has more sacks than anybody else in the NFL. And I don't know when our other linebackers are coming back, because we've got injuries down like 3-4 layers of linebackers. We've got injuries, and that could make a difference with this game today. Hopefully, if our quarterback rushing linebackers can get in and put a hurting on Rivers and put a little bit of fear, if that's possible, to put fear in a professional quarterback's mind, put a little fear in him, then maybe he'll resort to trying to get out of the pocket and trying to pass the ball. And he doesn't do a fantastic job. I just don't like the way the guy passes the ball. It looks like he doesn't go through a full motion to pass the ball. Even though he does well, it doesn't look like he goes through a full motion. So if they can put some fear in his mind and his heart today, to make him do things that he wasn't expecting to do, and make him pass the ball and make him start to look more before he starts to play, then maybe we'll be able to manage their offense and keep them from outscoring us. Williams is back today, Scotty says. Thank you, Scotty. So we'll see how well that works out and how things are going to go today, because our defense, we weren't even the herd. I don't listen to the guy very much, but he doesn't even have the Steelers in the top 10 anymore. That's because we lost 3 games in a row. We've had the top defense most of the season. We got categories where we've been at the top, and we've been doing a fantastic job. But we've fallen backwards, and hopefully things are going to get better, and we're going to be able to move up, and we'll finish out these last 5 games with victories. 5. I said 5. Yeah, 5 games. If we can finish out these last 5 games with victories, then we've achieved what we wanted. We've won the Super Bowl, right? That's what we are here for. Well, we want everything to happen on a weekly basis to give us a heart attack, right? That's what we want. But the ultimate is to win the Super Bowl. We would love to be undefeated. Love to be undefeated. I mean, when we went 7-0, we were so happy that we're 7-0. So happy that we're 8-0. We went all the way to 11-0, and we're happy. Well, everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. There's nothing that lasts forever. Nothing. So now we're 11-3. We're playing the Colts in Pittsburgh. I'm going to guess there's no fans in the stadium because they shut down the casinos until after the holiday in Pennsylvania, and things are limited. So I'm going to believe there's no fans in the stands today either. But they're at home, and that makes a difference. So we'll see how well things go with this and how they play today. But it's time to go because this is a very, very important game. It's not just important for the record. It's important for the morale of the players. It's important for the morale of the fans and their backers and the coaches. We've got to, no matter what happens, we need to win this game. If we win by 1 point, it doesn't matter. We just need to win this game. Coming on in a minute. Okay, thank you. Looks like my co-host will be coming on here pretty soon. So I don't have to talk the entire show by myself. We'll see. She was probably at church. We'll see how that she's coming on. Looks like she'll be on here pretty soon. But anyway, the last week, just as this week, people are putting their scores in for what they think the combined score is going to be for today's game, the final combined score. And as I said, like Paul Skinner has got 31 to 21 Steelers winning. That combined score is 52. So his total is 52. That's the number that he's got in. You have to have a number in, a score in that you think is going to be good, but you can't go over what the combined total is going to be. So if the combined total is 53, then there are two people here with the number 52, with the score of 53 people with the score of 52. So there would be a tiebreaker from those 3 people, or for those 3 people. That tiebreaker would come in next week's game. And today we have a tiebreaker also, and that tiebreaker is going to happen in just a few minutes. And that tiebreaker is going to be between Joe Clayton, Kathleen Vallely, and Sherry Gazorzi. And just like last week, they will be playing the tiebreaker for a customized t-shirt that they can design, and I will have it made for them. Okay. Let me see. I don't think, no, I don't have it, so I can't show you. But you saw one customized t-shirt emblem that someone could want. And actually, a lady said that she wanted it because it looked like her daughter. And so she wanted that t-shirt so she could have it for her daughter. So, but you don't have to have that design. You can have a customized design. You can customize the design on what you want it to look like for your t-shirt. And you can also choose black or gold, Steelers colors. Okay. So we're going to have a tiebreaker here with the three people I just mentioned. And there are going to be a few questions that I'm going to ask. I don't see that Sherry's on here, but hopefully she is. So listen, you guys, I need you to refrain from commenting once we start the tiebreaker. I don't need anybody to respond except for Joe Clayton, Kathleen Vallely, and Sherry Gazorzi. Okay, those are the only three people that are going to need to respond when the tiebreaker is going on. If you respond, I'm telling you now, okay, I'm making these rules up as I go, but they're going to be fair. If you respond while the tiebreaker is going on, if you make a comment while the tiebreaker is going on, you will not be able to participate in another game this season or postseason. So if you want to win a prize the remainder of the season or postseason, do not respond when we're having the tiebreaker so that we can get this taken care of. And most of all, so it's fair to the contestants. Okay? I'd appreciate it. I appreciate that you're here and that you do comment, but this is their game. You're in the next one. You were in one last week, hopefully, but they are in the tiebreaker. So because if you get in a tiebreaker, you don't want anybody interfering with you. So please don't interfere with them. So once I start it in just another 3 minutes or so, then please do not comment, do not get involved until after the tiebreaker is over, and then you can get back in, comment, and say what you want to say, okay? Well, as long as it's clean. This is a family show, all right? So Sherry Gazorzi, Kathleen Vallely, and my brother Joe needs to come on for the tiebreaker. I need each one of you now to say, I see you're here, Joe, and I saw Kathleen earlier, but I haven't seen Sherry. So Sherry, if you're on here, type in the comment box so that I can see your name, all right? So no one else comment right now. We're getting ready to start. Sherry, type in so I can see your name. We've got a 30-second delay here, so everything works a little bit slower when the viewers are commenting. But I saw Joe, I saw Kathleen, and now I need to see Sherry. All right. Hopefully Sherry's coming on. She already told me earlier she was coming on, but I can't see. If I don't see your name here, Sherry, send me a message because I don't see your name here. Send me a message in Messenger. As a matter of fact, to make this fair, Joe and Kathleen, I know that both of you can send me a message in Messenger. So your answers, when you answer, don't type it on this screen here. All right. Don't type it on this live screen. Send me your answer in Messenger. That way they will all come in time-wise. And the first ones that come in with the correct answers are the winners. Okay. And I know each of you can send me a message. So I want you to message me. Okay, Sherry, I see you've sent me a message. on Messenger. So I believe that you're hearing me. So I believe that you're here. So now we're getting ready to start the contest. So, okay, yeah, I they're not coming up on the screen, Sherry, but you did come in on. You did come in on. Now somebody's calling me. I'm not going to answer this phone because I'm getting ready to do this. Okay, I have you, Sherry, and I saw that was you calling me. But I have you, so you can send me your answers just as well as Joe and Kathleen sends me their answers on my Messenger. Okay, so I need each of you to send me your answers on Messenger. Now, let me find the questions here, and then we will start. Okay, now Joe, Sherry, and Kathleen. Send me your answers on Messenger, and I will repeat the question twice, and then you give me your answer. Or give me your answer as soon as, if I open my mouth and say the first word and you think you know the answer, send it to me, because time is what's going to matter here, okay? Now, the first question is, start all over. What river is formed by the Monongahela and the Allegheny? What river is formed by the Monongahela and the Allegheny? That's the first question. I'm waiting for answers to come in Messenger, and we'll see who comes in first. And Kathleen Valley says the Ohio. She has won that question. It's the best out of three. We have three questions. Kathleen Valley has won that question. Okay. The second question is, what number was Franco Harris's? What number was Franco Harris's? I'm looking, I'm waiting. You still have a chance. I'm looking and I'm waiting. Kathleen says 32. Kathleen is the winner because nobody can come back and win. So Kathleen, you won the t-shirt. So you can design a t-shirt. You can design a t-shirt and let me know what that design is, and then I will order it for you. All right? So we have a winner. The winner is Kathleen. Okay, now I've got 3 people here that will not be able to participate in the contest the rest of the season. I don't know if you were on earlier or not, but I said at the start of the contest of the tiebreaker that if you comment during the tiebreaker, you will not be able to participate for the rest of the season, because these people won last week and they had the opportunity to get through the tiebreaker with no interruptions. So I've got Andre Thacker, Holly, and I can't even begin to pronounce your last name, Altatanati, and Bill Jacobs. You 3 will not be able to participate in any other games this season. I've got you for today, Bill. Okay, you're in for today's game, but you will not be in any other games for the rest of the season. Because you typing on the screen could have given the game away to somebody, and that would be unfair. Okay, so Kathleen, it's okay. I knew the answers. They did not help me. Okay, I've got you, Kathleen. So I've got those 3 that will not be able to participate in any other games the rest of the season. Maybe I'll have a special one for the Super Bowl and you'll be able to participate then. I've got to think about that because I don't like anybody that interferes with what's going on. So this is Robert Conley and Sonia Blitz-Millette on Robert and Sonia Live. Robert and Sonia Live is brought to you by NGSC Sports. Robert and Sonia Live is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? This is Robert on Robert and Sonia Live, and Sonia showed up for about 90 seconds, and then she was gone. I don't know where she's at. So this is Robert on Robert and Sonia Live, and we are in the middle of our pre-game show here for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts that are playing this afternoon. Sorry, Holly. No, that was not for everyone. I'm going to have to. Okay, I'm making this up as I go along now. I appreciate those that didn't get involved. We have one more regular season game. I will make it right here, right now, and I'll put these rules together and I will post them so that you would have access to them. You cannot, the three that got involved in this tiebreaker that was not involved in the tiebreaker cannot be involved in the game next week. In the postseason, you'll be able to get involved in the postseason. How's that? I'm trying to make sure that everybody is treated fairly. Kathleen said it didn't help her. I didn't get answers from the other two people. So now I will allow you to get back in the postseason and play through the postseason. But anytime from now on, if there is a tiebreaker and you are not in the tiebreaker, do not comment because it needs to be fair. Okay, so you can't participate next week. You can participate you can participate in the postseason. All right. I'm glad you're here. This is Robert Conley on NGSC Sports on Robert and Sonia Live. So now the Steelers are playing. We all know this, and some of us are blacked out. We won't be able to watch the game. I can't even watch it on my phone on Yahoo Sports as I normally do. So I'm here in the sports bar today. You hear it's getting a little bit noisier, and it's going to get noisy because they start playing the music and it goes up. So it goes up too loud. So I'm going to go over this information a little bit for the Steelers game. And we will see. You guys can help me out here because Sonia normally gives me this information, or Sonia usually talks about this information, and she had some things going on this morning, and so she wasn't here. She's not here now, and so some of you may know something that I don't know about this, about the game. But I do know. Thank you, Holly. Fair enough. I got on hearing the okay. You weren't here when I gave the rules of the tiebreaker, so I understand that. So as the game has come up, let me see. I'm going to go back here because oh no, not there. Sorry. I've got a message here from Sherry, so I've got to see what. Oh, no, there was no message. She called and, but she didn't give any answer. So I'll have to chat with her later and find out what's up. So the game for the day, the injured player, someone says that James Conner is back. Last week, we didn't miss him that much because we still had a running game going on last week. So Conner does fight harder. He's not as quick, but Conner does fight and more power. But we'll see how that turns out today and how many yards we get on the ground, because we started with over 100 yards a game for like 6 games in a row. And then we went downhill. The next 6 games, we didn't have 100 yards a game. So we'll see if we can get those yardage back today in the game today. Right, it's Snell that's got the speed, and Connor has got the strength, the power. So we'll see if we can get some running game back today, which helps the passing game. I'm not sure, but before the season started, Vance McDonald said that Ben looked better than he's ever looked since McDonald's been on the team. And I will agree that, yes, he's looked very good at sometimes. Sometimes he hasn't looked very good at all, like the first half of last week. Well, what I've noticed in about the last 6 games is that, and I hope that what I've noticed is not right. I hope that it's something different. What I've seen in the last 6 games is that Ben's arm is not as big as it used to be, and he hasn't been firing the ball downfield because it's either his arm is not as big or our wide receivers are faster because they get downfield before the ball is there and the ball doesn't catch up. And so it's always behind them. So hopefully they've worked on that, and Ben has to fire that ball sooner, or they have to break free earlier so that the long passes that we could have happens. Jason agrees that his arm's not as strong as what it used to be. Jason, I'm really not sure, because in order to know if his arm is as strong, here comes the music. In order to know if his arm is strong, then as it used to be, then that means that the yardage that he throws the ball is not as far. And I haven't been able to measure it. I know that last week, I keep forgetting the guy's name. The quarterback in Cleveland, he threw a ball 70 yards in the air. He threw a ball 70 yards in the air. If Ben can't throw it 60 yards in the air, it's extremely hard for us to have a long pass completed. It doesn't take a long pass completion to have a long pass or a long gain. It takes a completion and then running after the completion as well. So, and these guys have the ability to run after the catch. So if they catch it and run, that's just as good as a run and catch. So we'll see what happens. He also had a major elbow injury. He was not supposed to be throwing the ball until it was completely healed. That's what he said he was going to do, not throw that ball until it was completely healed. It did help him when he was off 1 week and he came back and he played. He said he felt so much better when he was off the 1 week and he came back and played. But what happened with that? Timing was off. Timing got off a little bit with him and the receivers. Even though he's feeling good and completed passes, there were some that he didn't complete, and so the timing was off. And that probably was a result that he was not playing through practice. I'm going to see if I can find some information here. Let's see what this is here. Steelers and the Colts. Here's the playoff picture. Steelers already clinched the playoff berth, but can clinch the AFC North division title in Week 15 following outcomes. Well, this is Week 16, so that didn't happen. So that doesn't apply to this week. Last meeting of the Steelers and the Colts, Steelers won 26-24. That was Week 9 of 2019. Game featured a battle of backup quarterbacks. We all know Steelers didn't have Ben playing after a game and a half. Ben went out. Steelers scored first touchdown of the game, courtesy of 96-yard pick six by Micah Fitzpatrick. He's had a few interceptions this season, but the fireworks haven't been as big as they have been with Minka. But that's what happened last time we met. Pittsburgh Steelers special teams unit also came up big in the game, blocking an Adam Vinatieri extra point attempt in the second quarter and forcing a miss on a potential game-winning field goal attempt with 1:14 left to go in the fourth quarter. Steelers Chris Boswell was the leading scorer that day, making 4 field goals and 2 extra points. Boswell is out today. Boswell is out today. I believe his hip is still hurting him. Week 16, which is today, Steelers and the Colts, 27th regular season meeting between the two, 32 overall. Pittsburgh holds a 20-6 advantage in the series entering this game today, including a 16-2 record at home. Hopefully that is not a bad thing for them. When the Steelers get up with the high numbers at home and they start talking about it, I don't believe in jinxes, okay? I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in those type of things. But things like that seem to happen, and there's no explanation for them. Let somebody else explain it. I can't explain it. It happens. But they're leading the series right now, 16-2 at home. Steelers are currently on a 6-game win streak against the Colts, with their last loss coming in November 9th, 2008. Coach is 6-1 against the Colts right now. So that's that on that part. Okay. The analysts that have been talking about the game, let me go back here and see if there's any comments that I should address. And Holly says, I think he re-injured his arm. Remember massaging it on the field? Yes, Holly, I remember that when he landed on his elbow. And right, they were massaging it on the sidelines. He kept his arm bothering him to himself for 2 or 3 seasons. And he went out the first part of last year because he didn't let anybody know, and nobody knew how bad his arm was the first game of the season when we got blasted by, I think, the New England Patriots. It didn't have to be that bad. Let me go back here and see. Okay, so here's what Mike Prisuta says about this game. He says, the Colts' tendency has been to rush for and keep the ball from going over their heads on defense. They're betting most days that an offense can't drive the ball for distance without turning it over or otherwise making a key mistake. So I'd like to see the Steelers' offense stay patient, not commit penalties, protect the football, and execute. On defense, the Steelers should blanket the running backs and tight ends. Phillip Rivers will go to those guys all day if it's working. He sprinkles in occasional deep cross or deep post, but for the most part, he wants to make high percentage throws quickly. It's imperative to take away his preferred targets, often enough to make him uncomfortable. Also, and that's what I said a while ago. If we make Phillips Rivers uncomfortable, he's going to change his game. So back to Pursuta says also, it doesn't always have to be via a turnover, but the defense has to do a better job of not getting scored upon at a critical juncture in the fourth quarter than it has been over the last 3 games. Craig Wolfley says, the Steelers' offense has struggled to put points on the board on their opening drives in the first quarter. Last week against the Bengals, it took 6 drives before they even got a first down. They can't afford to wait that long. Come out smoking. Also, I've spent time watching the Colts line on both sides of the ball. Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, DeForest Buckner, Justin Houston, and Denico Autry. T-Rexes, all of them. T-Rexes, meaning dinosaurs. Fortunately, the Steelers have their own Tyrannosaurus Rex trench fighters. Pouncey, DeCastro, Hayward, Watt, and Tuitt. This is what Jurassic Park looks like in helmets and shoulder pads. I can't wait to see the battle of the trenches in this one. And I'm going to go back here for just a second to Matt Williamson. And he says, led by Darius Leonard, the Indianapolis defense is very active at linebacker and safety positions. They get a lot of bodies to the football, are excellent tacklers, and thrive when attacking downhill on short route concepts. It is imperative for the Steelers to expand their passing game and attack a greater portion of the field, meaning that they can use their 5 receivers. When the Steelers go out and they've got 5 receivers, it makes it very difficult for the defense to contain them. And so they get caught off guard and we make yardage. So that's what he's talking about here. Now, on the other side of the ball, he says Indianapolis is fighting some offensive line injuries. So they could have difficult time protecting the immobile Phillip Rivers. As I said, if they force Rivers out of the pocket, he's not comfortable. He wants to get the ball out quick, and he wants to get it to where he wants to get it to. And if we can force him and scare him and put a hurting on him, put some fear in him, he's going to be uncomfortable. That's just what Matt Williams is saying. Rivers has played well of late, but has a history of turning the ball over when under duress, and few teams can create that duress as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers. Speaking of turnovers, it should be noted that the Colts have the NFL's best turnover differential, but Miami is the only defense in the league that creates more takeaways than the Steelers. And that's what we have here today. Pittsburgh Steelers going up against a team that does create turnovers, okay? So Steelers have to do a better job than what they've been doing the last few weeks so that we can walk away with a win, okay? We need to walk away with a win. It's starting to get noisy in here. I've got everybody's points written down here. I'm going to go over these points before I get off here. If I do not call your name here with your points, send me a message, okay? And I need to get that message before the game starts, all right? It's time stamped, so I need to get that message before the game starts. I'm going to go over who I have right now 4 points. Kaham Peters, 49. Desiree Ann at 31. Lisa Reed at 43. Michelle Albert at 45. Wayne McMahon, 35. Love Steelers Russian, 48. Sharon Drummond, 41. Angie Soto, 59. Charlie Reed, 51. Holly Bridges, 47. Julio Coupons, 38. Kathy McKay, 52. Deb Helms, 48. Kathleen Vallely, 51. Paul Skinner, 52. Joe Clayton, 52. Scotty Ruffner, 34. Jason Lamar, I have you down here. Let me get your score. Jason. Where's your score at, Jason? There you go. Jason Lamar, 42. And Bill Jacobs. I have your name written down, but I did not get your score. Let me see if I can find it. 52. No, yes, 52. I have your score at 52. Bill, if that's not the score that you chose, send me a message. All right. Okay, I've got you at 42, Jason Lamar. Okay, I've got that. All right, so we've got it. It's starting to get noisy in here. You guys enjoy the game. This is Robert Conley on Robert and Sonia Live on NGSC Sports. Robert and Sonia Live is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Be back tonight at 7 o'clock for Robert and Sonia Live. 7 o'clock tonight. This is Robert Conley on Robert and Sonia Live. I'm gone, y'all.